we gotta start off with Patrick CC because I haven't watched Patrick CC in a minute, and I was gonna watch the Gabby Hanna video, but I didn't. I'll probably watch it eventually though. But anyways, the deadly experiments of Lima Jevremovic. I don't know how to say this name, bro. I'm bad with names. It's Jevremovic. That's a crazy name. I ain't gonna lie.
Live a life of abuse, addiction, and suffering, or pass away young, sober, and with your dignity. What would you choose? Unfortunately for Amanda Rabb, she didn't have a choice. Her choice was taken away from her by Lima Jevremovic, who owns a company that claims to have proprietary cutting-edge technology that will solve the homelessness crisis, that will prevent relapses and overdoses forever. But she needed an experiment, someone that was broken, mentally ill, addicted, shunned from society, someone who could disappear and nobody would notice. This is Amanda, a young woman who fell victim
I remember watching some of these interviews, and I remember hearing, I watched them when she passed, because I was like, why is everybody talking about this? Like, I had no idea who she was. And then I saw some of the interviews and I was like, oh. But I never heard of no
prostitution and addiction.
experiments.
Amanda knew her life was spiraling. What she didn't know was that the treacherous lifestyle on the streets of Skid Row wouldn't take her out. Her demise would come from the experiments of Lima Jevremovic. Trust me, you're gonna need some water for this one.
I got some spreads.
Also, I have to mention,
it seems like it's crazy. Yeah, no, Patrick CC dropped like a whole like 40-minute video on it, and I didn't watch it yet because it was too long to watch last week, and then my stream got cut off on Tuesday. But I'm definitely watching though, because I have been hearing a lot of people talking about like her just kind of spiraling out of control, bruh. Which is not surprising to me, considering a lot of content she was making years ago. So
this is all speculation. I found all of this information online. I don't know anything about the legal system. I don't know anything about anything. I'm just simply a guy in his bedroom making videos. Amanda's mother was absent for most of her life. When she was 3 years old, her parents split and her father Larry won custody of her in court. Growing up in Los Angeles, California, Amanda was your typical Cali teen. She hated visiting her mother's side of the family, which she claims to be a big source of her childhood trauma and mental abuse. In 2017, she got accepted to Cal State Northridge and was pursuing a creative writing degree. Amanda got mixed in with the wrong crowd and began smoking weed and skipping classes. After just 2 years, she dropped out and moved in with her boyfriend. Creating bad habits and missing the structure of school, Amanda had a lot of free time. She experimented with meth and Primo cigarettes, which are marijuana laced with crack. The drug use triggered symptoms of a serious mental health disorder. A breakup with her boyfriend made things even worse. She had to move back in with her father. Larry was concerned with her health and brought her to a doctor, who diagnosed her with schizophrenia and prescribed her medication. Amanda would leave the house and go missing for days, sometimes weeks at a time, just looking for her next fix. Her habits led her to exclusively living on the streets of Skid Row without a home. If you don't know, Skid Row is a 4-square-mile town in Los Angeles where approximately 9,000 to 15,000 homeless people live on the streets, intense and lacking basic human resources. The area attracts victims of addiction, mental illness, prostitution, and extreme—
The cops called on her. It was really loud and let her run. That's weird. Why is I mean, I feel like free time can be dangerous when it's the wrong type of free time. Or like if an impressionable person has, you know, a lot of free time, that's when it can be dangerous for sure. Like I feel like when most people have free time, it's not bad, but there's just situations where, you know, free time can definitely be a bad thing. It just depends though. It depends.
Poverty. She was suffering a full-on addiction to smoking crack, which forced her to turn to walking the streets, selling her body to keep up with the cost of her habit. Her father would take the bus to Skid Row and try to find her, to give her clothes, money, and food. One day, after sitting next to a woman for 15 minutes on the bus, Larry realized it was Amanda. He didn't even recognize his own daughter while sitting next to her. She didn't care to see her father. Man. All she wanted to do was go get high. They went to a sketchy trap house where Larry waited outside for 30 minutes while she did her thing. He bought her clothes and went home without her. This was Amanda's lifestyle for 2 years. Dang. Most of you are probably wondering why he would essentially let his daughter spiral out of control. On numerous occasions, Larry would try to get her to rehabs or medical facilities. Amanda did everything she could to escape, sometimes even jumping out of the car while he was driving. At some point, it becomes basically impossible for one man to keep up with Amanda's unpredictability.
Yeah. And that's the thing too with addiction is like, when someone is not willing to go to rehab and get better, they're not going to. And even if they do, it's not going to work. It's like, that's just how it is. So it's not that surprising. So at a certain point, like, even though you care for somebody and want the best for them, like, all you can do is try to help them realize that, like, what they're doing is not the best thing. But that's all you can really do, bro. It's tough.
The only reason we know about Amanda's story is because of this video posted by Soft White Underbelly.
I do crack.
They got some great interviews, man. High key.
Yeah.
So
Crack is an expensive drug to keep up.
Soft White Underbelly is a YouTube channel with over 3 million subscribers owned by Mark Laeta. Mark will walk the streets of Skid Row and pay people up to $100 to tell their stories on camera. Obviously desperate for money, a lot of them accept.
didn't feel comfortable with that. So I wanted to do something that mattered more in the world.
Mark interviews individuals on the fringes of society that are pushed to the side, from addicts to sex workers to gang members and literally everything in between. After he interviews them, he tries to get help for these people, check up on them, buy them food, and give them resources. These series have helped me move from a place of
the best for themselves. Exactly, bro. Exactly.
To one of empathy.
We watching Patrick CC. We talking about Amanda. I think she died last year, the year before. I forgot, but this whole thing.
Thank you for helping me grow. Amanda's interview became one of Mark's most popular videos. Despite her sad story, she was funny, intelligent.
Still not looking. Exactly, bro. Exactly. W dad, bro. He was trying.
And
that's all you can do.
Viewers became invested
all you can
in
do
her
is
life
trying.
and were rooting for her redemption. Mark was incentivized by his audience to keep interviewing Amanda because his viewers developed a relationship with her. But when Mark uploaded her second interview 3 months later, fans were shocked at what they saw.
Tell me about your family. You grew up with both of your parents?
Yeah, I grew up with my auntie and uncle. They took me in because I was with my dad. He turned out to be a molester, so his wife left him. So now I live downtown LA as a prostitute, and I'm a crackhead.
Amanda's reality was scarier than a Netflix documentary. The fans felt for her. They became increasingly invested in her life and pushing Mark to help her. In Amanda's first couple of interviews, she describes her father as abusive and accuses him of much worse.
I stayed with my father. He turned out to be a molester, so I just walked the streets day and night.
The audience thinks that Amanda's father is a bad guy who caused this pain. Mark probably assumes the same, but he reached out anyways. In the beginning of her third interview, he put this message on screen. Amanda's family and I are trying to find a way to get her into a rehab, but we can't legally force her to go.
That's another thing too. I'm pretty sure like in most places, it's illegal to try and force somebody to go to rehab.
Wants to stay on the street and smoke crack. We have been able to get her the schizophrenia medication she used to take. We are still looking for a miracle for Amanda. A mutual relationship would form between Larry and Mark with the goal of assisting Amanda the best they could.
Your dad and I give you money to avoid you doing more dangerous things for your addiction that you're gonna do whatever it takes to get your money for crack.
Larry began looking into a conservatorship to take more control of his daughter's life and change it for the better. A conservatorship is a way for someone to assume legal guardianship over an adult. In order for a judge to grant a conservatorship, it needs to be proven in court that the person in question is incapable of making decisions on their own behalf. While
It's crazy that they really did that to Britney Spears though. I think that's wild, bruh. I ain't gonna lie.
Was doing everything he could to save his daughter, things got much, much worse. Amanda beat her father with a pipe. We don't know why. We don't know where they were. We don't really know any details about this situation other than what her dad told Mark, which was that there was an altercation and Amanda
we'll put V-Dad for now because we're not sure.
Assaulted Larry. Immediately after, Larry called Mark and asked him what to do. Mark instructed Larry to have Amanda arrested so they could secure a conservatorship, but Larry wouldn't be Amanda's conservator. That power would be given to Lima. Lima Jevremovic is the owner and founder of Aura, which is a digital mental health services company. They apparently have proprietary cutting-edge technology that will predict and reduce relapse, self-delete, harm to oneself or others. They basically approach mental therapy like physical therapy, trying to use data and vital information about the body and brain to diagnose mental issues. Soft White Underbelly partnered with Aura to announce a scholarship program on August 1st, 2020. This program will select a candidate that has appeared on SWU and give them long-term mental health rehabilitation that will cost an estimated $250,000.
So the cost of real treatment would be about, and this is very low, right? would be about $250,000 for a year for somebody.
The program also includes an extended residency at a rehabilitation facility and a sober living house, along with Lima assisting the candidate in obtaining proper health insurance. Mark and Lima set up a GoFundMe, asking their followers to donate to the cause. At this point, everything was all good. This seemed like a positive and genuine initiative. Lucky for Amanda, Mark and Lima see her as the perfect candidate to be the poster child for Aura. With paperwork in hand, Lima appears at Amanda's court date and convinces the judge and Amanda to agree to a court-ordered 1-year-long rehabilitation treatment at a facility. If Amanda does not complete her treatment, she will be sentenced to 3 years in jail. Obviously, there wasn't much of a choice for Amanda. She wouldn't have even been in this position if Mark and Lima had not instructed Larry to have her arrested after the pipe incident. Then again, if someone beats me with a pipe, I'm probably calling the cops.
Yeah.
Also, most addicts are not ready to accept help, so they reject it. Some people even think this whole situation is entirely made up. But regardless, Lima now has complete control over Amanda for the next year of her life.
So you chose Amanda,
Yes, I chose Amanda.
which I think is very brave of you.
Thank you. And I chose Amanda with you specifically because you and I both discussed this. And not only does Amanda have a lot of people praying for her and a lot of people that really want to see her get better.
Mark and Lima changed the GoFundMe to show that Amanda was chosen, and Aura resources will be used for her journey in rehabilitation. Amanda was kept in jail for 3 months before being transported to a temporary rehab center in Claremont, California, but ultimately received most of her care at Desert Hope Treatment Facility in Las Vegas. Her first treatment update with Aura is posted at the end of October 2020. Fans were happy to see her being coherent and somewhat mentally sound. Also in rehab, there was volleyball, karaoke, bingo nights, a smoking pit, and daily group therapy. 7 months after the first update video, another would be posted showing further recovery. A smiling, clear-headed Amanda was present and excited about her new, healthier mindset, despite her clearly unhealthy amount of weight gain. She also mentions that the medication she's been taking is helping her with cravings and schizophrenia. At this point, we're not really sure what Aura is doing that a normal rehab couldn't do, so people have been asking, like, what is this cutting-edge technology that Aura uses? All we found was this clip.
Oh my God! What the fuck? Oh! Oh
VR.
my God!
Amanda.
Lima posted this strange video on the Meet Aura Instagram, where Amanda seems very distressed. We think this is the Aura facility, but if they're studying her...
Is this a what's it called, bro? The NZXT? This is kind of like one of the ones I've seen on their site before. I don't know though.
And using cutting-edge technology, why
Like
are
the
people
HT something.
filming her and laughing? She's wearing a VR headset in a room that looks like a Twitch streamer's room, with people laughing at her behind the camera. The video then cuts to Amanda's view from the inside of the VR headset, where she can be seen in a virtual recreation of Skid Row, with a massive billboard depicting an advertisement for Aura on a billboard with a picture of Bam Margera and his wife. They claim this is exposure therapy that allows people to face their demons through VR. If that's the case, why the laughter? Why are they running?
Exactly. That's a little sketch. This feels like a Black Mirror episode. It does. This reminds me of Playtest. Actually, from Black Mirror, bro. Yo, wait. Amanda, like, she died. This really reminds me of Playtest.
Ads in a therapy session. After seeing that post, I began to think about who Lima really is. Why does this video come off so disingenuous? And what makes her even qualified to be doing this therapy? Lima graduated Carleton University and University of Guelph, getting a bachelor's degree in political science.
Guelph is a crazy name.
But Lima didn't enter the world of politics. She took a big interest in VR tech and the future of it. She started a blog spot called Move Monster Tech, or current events in the worlds of tech, where she posted about current events and breakthroughs in technology. But it failed because it has to be one of the worst names a company could ever have. Imagine saying to one of your friends, "Did you see what was written in Move Monster today?" Her second company she founded was The Last Star, which was a corrections, education, and behavioral counseling organization with the mission of cutting down the incarceration rate within North America. But only one website describes it that way. Any other mentions of her first company are almost word for word the exact same ambiguous characteristics as her current company, Aura. A keynote to make about Aura is that no one, not even Lima, seems to accurately describe what they actually do in detail. In interviews, their website, social media, it is described in vague wording, copy-paste messages and buzzwords. If we go to the website and look at the products, A drop down for how Aura works is shown. Clicking this brings us to a page that describes a vague app that is used to monitor patients, and when you click on the Learn More tab at the bottom, a new page is displayed. A template page that has example messages across the entire thing. This is where you land if you want to learn more about Aura. They didn't even finish the website or bother to delete all this filler text.
Weird.
They even have a step-by-step process on how you can get someone into a conservatorship, all with details coming soon. Some people think it's not that deep, it's just an unfinished website. But for someone claiming to have proprietary intellectual property, running experimental VR technology therapy on mentally ill patients, most people thought if Amanda was their relative, they probably wouldn't want her in the care of Aura.
Yeah.
Great.
Kind of weird.
Yeah. Yeah, Lima came out of nowhere and just kind of made this all happen, didn't she?
Definitely. She made a lot of things happen.
She's a different person.
Yeah, she
You've
is.
transformed Amanda.
Because our team is really good at what we do.
I think when we first started, I was like, oh man, this could go badly.
The soft white underbelly community received the most devastating and heartbreaking news. On May 9th, 2021,
That was last year.
Amanda was found dead in her room. She was 25 years old and at that point 8.5 months sober. May she
Dang, man,
rest in
R.I.P.
peace. She proved everybody wrong. She'll be remembered for her strength. The community was absolutely floored by this news. They made peace. She passed with her dignity, with strength, clear, coherent, and sober. Lima and Larry were the ones that broke the news to the community.
The treatment center staff walked into Amanda's room thinking that she was just peacefully sleeping and realized that she had passed away. Well, I know that they did a toxicology report. All she had in her system was Tylenol.
She simply passed in her sleep. Now, there was a toxicology report, but no autopsy at this time. So Lima tried her best to explain how it is possible that Amanda passed away naturally. Brain trauma, from obvious mental issues, and even brutal beatings on the streets. Her going from severely underweight to very overweight in a short period of time. A long history of drug use was enough to deteriorate someone even if they are sober. It's not...
That is true, which, what's good, V-Long? A lot of people, right, when they're addicted to like heavy drugs, in a lot of cases, when they get clean, their body just doesn't know how to react to it. So that can do, in some cases, more damage than actually doing the drugs. Like, look at Fredo, bro. R.I.P. Fredo. Fredo was sipping hard for years and then quit and then had liver damage and, you know what I'm saying, died. Look at Keed, bro. Keed just died this year. He just got clean probably like last year. You know what I'm saying? And so that isn't that surprising, but it's still kind of sketch, though.
Question. When someone does that much damage to their body and brain, any day could be their last.
Very true.
So when I met Lima, it was just a change in my life.
The community didn't hear much about Amanda until Lima posted a video 4 months later of her giving a touching speech at Amanda's funeral. But it was when the autopsy report came in 7 months later in this video where people started to raise suspicion.
And so they just marked it as a seizure disorder. If they had gone the route of doing post-traumatic epilepsy, if the traumatic brain injury and the assaults were well documented.
Firstly, Amanda never had seizures and died of a seizure. Secondly, this video talks about Amanda's autopsy for exactly 1 minute and 49 seconds. Then the rest of the 17 minutes, Lima talks about how to solve homelessness, how California spends $16 billion per year to keep homeless people on the streets, how Aura has a plan to solve homelessness for cheap, how Aura has a supplement that you can buy, and how Amanda's treatment was so effective and essentially proof of how they can successfully solve this much bigger problem. The video is nothing short of an advertisement for Aura. People started to think that Amanda was just one big experiment for Lima's company. One of those people that was curious was BJ Investigates, or That Surprise Witness. They're the same person, who I must thank for the hard work that she's doing. She's a lawyer and YouTuber who dives deep into court documents and other legal documents to fact check what is being released to the public. And she exposed some lies. BJ got a hold of Amanda's official autopsy report. Lima lied about Amanda's death. The term seizure disorder is mentioned nowhere. Amanda did not die of a seizure. Looking at the official documentation, it is clearly stated that the cause of death is this. Amanda Rabb died of cardiac arrhythmia. Hypertension, obesity, and schizophrenia were all contributing factors. Hypertension is high blood pressure, which is probably caused by obesity. Amanda was not obese before Lima's care. Also,
definitely not.
Remember when Lima said that Amanda only had Tylenol in her system at the time of death? The document shows that she was prescribed 5 different drugs nightly to help her remain in a normal state. Gabapentin, cotinine, and caffeine were found in her system, along with trace amounts of cannabinoids and barbiturates that accompany the Tylenol. Amanda died under Lima's conservatorship. Aura's treatment and their rehabilitation technology were not successful because it was supposed to be 1 year and she was supposed to survive. Plus, for it to really be successful, Amanda would also have to remain sober and integrate back into society. She lied. There is no arguing against it. But why? The community of hundreds of thousands that were following Amanda and rooting for her, all their support, all their money that they donated to various GoFundMes, all the free promotion, followers, and advertising Lima got for her company, don't they at least deserve the whole truth? Does Mark know about this? Does he know that he broadcasted a fabricated story? Does Larry know about the real reason his daughter passed? There are a ton of different reasons why
it's kind of weird, bro.
And a lot of extremely complicated things to consider. But we can speculate on 3 different theories on what exactly happened, from sad to dark to sinister. Now remember, these are theories.
Facts.
Just theories. Lima,
We don't know
Larry,
anything
and
right
Mark were actually trying to help. Larry was actually a good father. Mark genuinely believed Aura had the resources to help. Amanda didn't want to be helped, but she can't think logically due to her addictions. Plus, after beating her father with a pipe, she had no choice. Once she got a few months sober, she realized this help was necessary. She became level-headed and unfortunately passed due to all of the damage her body, brain, and psyche had taken from a lifetime of pain and trauma. Then Lima fabricated the toxicology and autopsy reports to try and simplify the reason behind her death to the viewers. After all, it was basically chance. Lima genuinely loved and cared about Amanda, and she's proud that she helped her get sober, proving that Amanda could be strong enough to fight her demons and pass with dignity. Summary: maybe Aura wasn't exactly qualified, but there was no foul play. And Amanda died of natural causes. Dark theory: Lima, Larry, and Mark were actually trying to help. At first, Larry was a good father, maybe abusive like Amanda said, but just wanted to get her help finally. Mark genuinely believed Aura had the resources to help, but he also knew that making more content about Amanda would help his channel earn more money. Amanda didn't want to be helped, but after beating her father with a pipe, she had no choice. The whole time she was getting sober, she hated it and was just going through the motions. She was not ready to accept that she needed to get sober. She passed due to all the damage her body, brain, and psyche had taken, plus all the other drugs that were in her system and becoming obese during rehab. Then Lima fabricated the toxicology and autopsy reports to try and protect her reputation. Lima genuinely loved and cared about Amanda and is proud that she helped her get sober, proving that she could be strong enough to fight her demons and pass with dignity. But she lied about the autopsy and tried to just talk about the future of Aura and fixing the homelessness crisis because she didn't want the viewers to turn on her. Aura wasn't qualified, and when things went wrong, she tried to protect her career.
This honestly feels like the most like probable, theory. To be honest, if we're being real honest, the sad one is just like sad, but like kind of hopeful. But this one is like, if I had to bet on any of them, it's this one.
Sinister theory.
It's the last one though.
Nobody cared about Amanda truly. Larry was an abusive father who was living on Skid Row, so he didn't really feel bad for Amanda because he was poor too. Mark just wanted to make more content. Amanda didn't want to be helped, and they lied about the pipe story to get her in jail. Lima saw this as an opportunity to run a risky and dangerous rehabilitation experiment.
This is a crazy picture.
She knew the money they raised would go into her, Larry, and Mark's pockets. They billed the insurance companies in Amanda's name and took all the money while not giving Amanda the proper care she needed. The whole time Amanda was getting sober, she hated it. They knew they could get away with any version of the story they wanted to because nobody would believe Amanda due to her addiction. She passed due to all the other drugs that were in her system, becoming obese during rehab, and neglect, since she was merely an experiment. Then Lima lied about the toxicology and autopsy reports to try to protect her reputation and because she didn't think anyone would care enough to look deeper. And now she has enough data and proof that her methods work to lock others into the same predatory conservatorships. The summary: Aura wasn't qualified. Nobody really cared about Amanda since she was a burden to all of them. They milked all the money from the situation they could, and Amanda was nothing but a lab rat for Lima's company. You can let me know what you think. The sad thing is, Bam Margera might be going through the exact same thing because Lima just got him into a conservatorship. But we'll talk about that in the next video.
Pat, you can't. Come on, bro. You can't give us a cliffhanger like that. Like this is Dragon Ball Z or something, bro. This is real life. You better drop that episode tomorrow. And we was just talking about Bam too, bro. Nah, bro. I swear, if something happens to Bam Margera, bro, we need eyes on her, bro. Cause what? Like I said, man, I think the dark one is the most probable. You know, probably not that crazy foul play, but you know, just not the best case scenario. The last one would make sense, but I don't know. I feel like it's too early to tell. But bro, like I said, man, if anything happens to Bam Margera, bro, anything, I don't care what, anything, like, it's up, bro. W video though, man. I like these types of videos from Patrick. Just a little different, you know, kind of more informational, stuff like that. I really like where he's been going with the channel lately, man. Like in the last year, you know, bro's been different.